Mr. Speaker, congratulations. John Eccles had something on TV this weekend, unprecedented. First, the longest serving speaker in Oklahoma history. So this is the first day of the first session of the 59th legislature. What are your thoughts today as you begin your final session as Oklahoma's House Speaker?
Hey, Scott, thank you very much. Great to be with you. I'm excited about it. Every session brings something new. It's different. I think our members are excited to be here. We've just come off an election cycle. We've had several meetings and budget hearings coming prior to today's gaveling in for the 59th session. I guess technically we've been in session since since January 3rd on the organizational day. But today we will hear from the governor of the state in joint session with the House and the Senate in the House chambers, the state of the state and what the governor's priorities will be. But it's great to serve and honoring to be the longest serving speaker in state's history and for an unprecedented fourth full term leading the House. In the case of the House of Representatives, there are 101 members elected by people across the state. We all arrive here the same way. There's no one person in state government that controls it. At best, we are a group of minority shareholders of one big company. And so that requires understanding that, that you have to always be working to bring people along and discuss those issues and listen primarily. And through listening to other people, a lot of times we want to have the same desire for outcomes, but the path of getting there is always different based upon the 101 members elected to the House. So quite a bit of listening, and sometimes, that helps you figure out how to navigate the issue, bring people together and forward.
I mentioned a moment ago the difference in the atmosphere economically. Your first sessions were dealing with budget shortfalls and
Right.
all kinds of difficult questions. It's different now. Your thoughts about the Oklahoma turnaround and some of the things that the House may have contributed to that turnaround economically.
Well, first of all, it's much better to be in the position we are today than we were in my first term as Speaker in the 56th legislature. I certainly inherited a situation where the state's economy really was struggling and had been struggling for a number of years. Took a lot of courage from the members of the 56th legislature to right the situation for the state, but that took some tough votes, some unprecedented level of passage, but it became the last possible option for us in the state to either lead and correct it or continue to watch the state melt down. Courage and has resulted now in the state's the highest state surpluses and revenues that the state's ever seen, and so it's great to be here. I'm thankful to be in the current situation that I am, and very happy and gratified to know that I will be passing this along to the future members of the House of Representatives in a much better, not just in a much better position than I inherited it, but in the best position in state's history. So that is gratifying.
Let me ask you if you share an opinion with somebody who I see every Sunday, the floor leader, John Eccles, who said this session or this legislature is going to be judged pass fail on doing some things such as tax cuts. I know that is part of the agenda at the House. It's something that you guys and ladies and gentlemen had passed over last year. There's some unfinished business with the Senate and the governor. But precisely what is your agenda and the House's agenda as you move forward on day one?
Well, I think tax cuts are important. They are, something that we have done recently, but state revenues continue to grow at unprecedented levels, and they'll probably taper off a little bit going forward. But this is a great opportunity for us to give the people of the state of Oklahoma some relief with their tax burden. Oklahoma is 23rd overall in its tax structure compared to the other states in the country. That's something I think we have the opportunity to change and to improve our positioning and really to help the people of the state, whether that be a moratorium for a couple of years on the state's portion of the grocery tax, which I've reintroduced this year, to a personal income tax cut, which I've introduced those measures again this year, to an overall tax structure change. Those are things we need to do. And if we cannot get agreement on a comprehensive tax structure overhaul, we need to give the people of the state of Oklahoma relief, especially with the inflation that still persists at the grocery store, at the gas pumps, the things in everyday life that people are experiencing. The state of Oklahoma, we can give them some relief, and I feel and believe very strongly in that.
Well, today's State of the State address, you're working with two gentlemen who you know very well and have for some time, Governor
Yes.
Stitt, who's back, and the Pro Tem, Greg Treat, who's back. Also, there is a new minority leader there in the House, Cindy Munson.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, your hopes today as you go into the first day of the first session, and what you'd like to see we get done in Oklahoma get done in this 2023 session?
Well, I think the things that we, are going to be focused on, things like we've talked about, tax cuts or the tax environment in the state of Oklahoma. I think that's very important to the people of our state. Also, in attracting business and new people to our state. We have to be the most competitive in the region. And then, but overall, we're not quite there. In the region, we're probably a little bit better than in our tax structure than a couple of states around us. The other thing we have to look at in terms of this session, we'll focus on workforce, and we just have very low levels of unemployment. We still have some underemployment. In the state of Oklahoma, people not realizing their full potential. We'll be working on that, but we need to add people to the state to fuel the economy expansion that we're experiencing, which is a great problem to have. The other thing, Scott, I think we need to look. The House will be firmly focused on protecting the freedoms and liberties of the people of the state of Oklahoma, as it has done in previous sessions. I think the climate in Washington will continue to be such that we will be spending time on that here in the state of Oklahoma, exercising our state's rights under the 10th Amendment. Education is always important every year to the state of Oklahoma and to the people. And the House will continue to be focused on policy that works everywhere in the state of Oklahoma, not just in certain geographic areas of the state. We believe that all parents winning and all students winning across the state is what we should be focused on when it comes to education, as well as our most precious commodity in the education industry, which are our teachers.
Speaker Charles McCall, first day of the 59th legislature and first Speaker to serve 4 full terms. As you begin, we wish you best of luck and good to see you. And we'll be seeing you next week.
Scott, look forward to an update on our next week's program. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.